Hi, everyone, and welcome to CNC Monthly. I am your host, Reverend John Owens, and today we have the opportunity to hear from a very dear friend of mine, Deborah Greene, who is from All Saints Fort Lauderdale. I will say my personal relationship was before I came out here to Oakland. All Saints Fort Lauderdale was my former church. And at that church, that's actually where I got exposed to CNC teaching the curriculum. And then the year after I was done teaching, Deborah took over, and she's been teaching this many, many years. And they pretty much just run the adult CNC program. And so with that, we're going to hear today a little bit about her perspective. So welcome, Deborah, and tell us a little bit about how it works at All Saints.
Well, for everything I'll do is pre-pandemic because now it's a little bit different. But we ran the class twice a year. We have chosen 8 lessons. We only do it for 2 months, which we found that we just can't get people to commit for that long. So we've chosen 8 lessons. We do it on Sunday morning from 9 to 10:15. Usually our classes are between 8 and 12, 10 and 14, somewhere in there. They're a combination of lifelong Episcopalians who just enjoy learning and having an interaction on Sunday morning, to brand new people, to people getting married, to people having babies, to people who are church shopping, all things like that.
Yeah, one of the things I was thinking about that always really impressed me about All Saints was for confirmation curriculum was that people love to retake this class. I mean, they would finish it one year and they would retake it again the next year. And that was something that always like blew my mind. The fact that people just like, I want to take it again.
Well, John, that's how I got this job of teaching it, because I took it and then I took it again. I took it 4 times. And then finally, the teacher who was teaching it, or the facilitator, said, I'm ready to retire, and I think you're ready to take over. So that's how I got to be the leader of the group. But I think it really is a testament to how rich the curriculum is. And one reason I love it is because of the going way back into history. And for me, I just need to review constantly the historical timelines, because I forget, and I'm really interested in it. And the other people that take the class seem to feel the same way. And what I think is so great about the curriculum is that every group of people that you do it with, it's like a whole new experience, because they bring their experience, to the table. And the curriculum includes so much conversation and interaction that it's just different every time.
Yeah, just kind of curious. Do you have a favorite part of the curriculum that you like, or a favorite lesson out of those 8?
Well, I love the timeline lesson where you go all the way back to, and I'm trying to remember, it's been a while now, a couple of months since I taught it, but there's one where you have a timeline, and you have all these actors with the Roman emperor, and I think you start with the death of Christ and you go all the way to I don't know where we end, but that lesson I love. And I'm still, my
husband, it's the one where we wear all the bishop's hats.
Yes. That one. Yes. And the jump rope and the whole thing. And my husband is always amazed at how much I have to study before that class and all of those historical classes, because they're really rich in details, and you have to be able to present it in a very cohesive way and not get lost, because it's really easy to get lost. So I've done a couple of things to keep myself on track in that particular lesson, like I put up the timeline ahead of time, and I put up the key players ahead of time and the key points so that I have it ready and I don't have to jumble with my papers, because it's nothing that I can remember. I can't memorize all these dates and everything. So it just works better for me if I put it up ahead of time and then take a marker and, mark things too as I go along.
Yeah.
But
Those are really great tips for facilitators. But what has it been like for you to facilitate the CNC curriculum?
well, I love it. It's a big commitment because you do it 8 Sundays in a row. But the consistency of doing it 8 Sundays in a row, I think just bonds everyone together. And that's been, my experience. One time we tried to do it where we did a full Saturday. I think you were already gone at this point, or were you still here? I'm not sure.
It was gone.
You were gone. Okay. So we were trying to see if we could save time and maybe not have 8 weeks. Well, I would not recommend that if anyone would take my experience. You need those 8 separate lessons to build up the group. You can't just do it in one day. So I think we combined like 3 lessons in one day. We had lunch. We were trying to make it like a little retreat. I would not do that again. It works much better the way the curriculum is set up to do it once a week. So that's what I would say. And, it's made me, it's like my thing that I do there.
Sure.
So
it makes perfect sense.
It's my thing that I do at the church. And I'm a teacher in real life. So, I feel comfortable doing it. I feel, and I can't say that I always feel confident doing it because it's a lot of information, a lot. So if anybody is feeling like they don't always get it, I know I have to study so much before this class and before every class. And I wish I had my book here. I should show you my notes. I have just Post-it notes over everything because I have to write it down to remember it. So it's full of notes.
That's actually really good tips. So what tips do you have for people that are facilitating? What's made it easier for you?
Well, making my own, I always put my agenda on the board because I just feel like the less that I fiddle with the papers, the better. And I even do this in my own teaching world. I always have my agenda on the board, not really for the students, but for me. So I know where we're going and what's next. And so I do that. I try to anticipate because they always have questions in the, what do they call that? Creation to chaos section. And I try to anticipate now that I've done it so much, I know some of the questions. But they will ask some really tough historical questions like, when did this happen? What about this Roman emperor? What about this Pope? And I try to have a little bit of background, and that's what takes so long to prepare these lessons, that you have to do a lot of sort of extra reading to have the full context of what they're talking about. And I would say whoever wrote this did a great job because it's very, very well organized. Other teaching tips. Now, there's one part of the curriculum that talks about like the rules of the road. I did that a couple of times, and then I found it really wasn't necessary because they're all adults, and I know this was meant for younger people, and maybe you would need those kind of rules, but I kind of skip over that now because I don't find it is necessary. I think it's a great tool, and if we did have someone that was out of order, I would put it right back up. But so far, it saves a little bit of time.
Great tips. So my last question for you is, can you share maybe a favorite memory or experience of teaching CNC? Like a moment that stood out?
Well, you know, I'm just thinking of I can't really think of one event, but the laughter that we have on a Sunday morning is just so much fun. And the curriculum allows people to really express themselves and the fact that they don't know. I mean, we have cradle Episcopalians that don't know the history. And they're just so brave to say, you know what, I don't know. And I think part of it is because I'm always saying, I don't know. We're going to have to look at this together. We're going to have to look this up. And I think it gives people a comfort level of, you know, being okay with not knowing. So I'm really happy about that. We've also started to have our EFM facilitator come to the last or one of the classes, which is Education for Ministry, because many of the people want to continue with some kind of activity because they've kind of bonded over these weeks. And we've had a few people go into that from our class. So we're hoping to, you know, expand the exposure to here's what you can do at All Saints after you finish this class. So we're working on that.
That's really great. You know, that's, I think one of the always things is, you know, that you kind of come up with something to help people engage. What's the next step in their formation after this? And that's a really creative way of doing it, especially with programs like EFM and which is an Episcopal curriculum done through the University of the South in Swanee, Tennessee. But whatever, we work with 5 different denominations. So whatever your denomination does, that might be the next ongoing thing. It's a perfect segue for that, I think.
Well, it is, because at the end, you've got this group of bonded people and nowhere to go, you know, and they want to stay together. And I can see them. Here's a highlight. I see them sitting in church together. Because like, these are their people that, you know, especially if they're new. And I remember the people that were with my husband and I when we took the class, and you just like, okay, this is my group. And now when I see them sitting in church together, I'm just so happy. So I think it's a great, you know, a great program. I'm looking forward to continuing. You know, we used to teach it twice a year with a nice full group, and hopefully we'll get back to that.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for your time, and for everyone who watched this. This is Deborah Greene again from All Saints Episcopal Church in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And I would love to hear your own stories. If you would care to share them with us, you can email me at John, that's JON, @confirmnotconform.com. And tune in next month for another episode. And thank you, and have a blessed day.